Hello. So this is my first video um, in regards to learning Clawhammer Banjo, which is what I'm about to start doing. Um, so I have had a couple of days prior to this where I have just been having a mess around, seeing whether or not I enjoy the technique. I started a couple of years ago when I got my banjo. So it has been, I picked it up and played it a little bit, but it's sort of been sitting around with me not really knowing what I'm doing. I started learning the L Scruggs technique or picking technique, three finger style, where you use your thumb and these two fingers to play, which is sort of okay. I sort of half got into it, but I didn't practice nearly enough to get the technique under any sort of playing level at all, really. And I thought, you know what, I'll pick it up again. And I was just looking at YouTube and watching some videos, and I came across the clawhammer style. So I've been doing a bit of research on that, and I really love the sound of it. I love the way that it looks, and I like the history and the roots behind it. I mean, I know I'm English, and it's a very American sort of history, but it just it feels. I love it. It feels so right, especially when you're playing the banjo. It just, it's the basis of it. So I've been looking at books and things like that. So I've been looking and come across Patrick Costello. I found him on YouTube teaching some of it, and he mentioned his book, The How and the Tao of Old Time Banjo, which I found a copy of when I googled Clawhammer Banjo PDF books, and it came up. It was one of the first ones that came up, so I downloaded that and started reading that. I also came across Clawhammer Banjo for the Complete Ignoramus by Wayne Erbsen, so I started having a look at that as well. And last night I was looking at somebody else and on YouTube who was charting their journey. I can't remember the name of her off the top of the head, but I'll post a link to her YouTube underneath here as well, because it's actually quite an interesting journey, and it's kind of what's inspired me to start my own, really. So thank you for that. And she was looking at what's called Rocket Science Banjo by Tony Spadaro. So I went to his website, which I'll post down at the bottom here as well, and downloaded his PDF book and lots of files and things that came with that, which is incredible. So thank you very much for that, Tony. But I've just printed out the first lesson, Rocket Science Banjo, so it's just the basic strokes. I'm going to go back because the others that I've been looking at sort of start you with the bum ditty rhythm, which is kind of quite interesting and I like. So so I've been learning that for a couple of days, and I pick things up quite quickly. So this is my banjo. It's got a black drum head on it, which I really love, and it's made by Barnes and Mullins, who have their head office coincidentally about sort of 10 miles down the road from me, which is great. So so really I've just been fiddling around for a couple of days just to see how well I got on with it, whether I really enjoyed the technique or not, before I decided whether or not I want to start tracking my journey. Something that I don't normally do, but this time I am. So I hope you enjoy it. This is really for my benefit to see how long it takes me to really sort of learn how to play to a reasonable speed, so I can actually play some tunes and start sort of doing my own thing, noodling, I think they call it. I'm I'm not up with all the terms of speak yet, so but I will get there. Yeah, so I want to just play a little bit of what I've learned so far. So if I just bend my thing down, so just starting with the thumb. I'm still wondering whether to use my index or my middle finger. So I'm playing around with that and see which one feels better. I'm going with my middle finger at the moment. That just seems to work. So this is where I'm at the moment. So it's a little bit rusty. It's very, very unpolished. But then I have only been doing this technique for 2.5 days, so it's going to be. And I think that's the point, is that it's the journey from playing those first little bits and seeing how comfortable I get with it, how quickly. And like you say, just playing around with what feels most comfortable for me. I think that's the basis of this. There's a lot of things of the rights and wrong ways of doing it, but for me, it's about feeling comfortable. Holding it slightly. I was looking at different ways to hold it, and with the 3-finger style, the scrug style, you hold it up like that, and that's what I've been used to. But actually, I was looking at something where you hold it on your knee, and kind of just sort of cradle it, and actually works a little bit better. So there you go. So that's an improvement almost immediately. Anyway, this video is running into sort of 10 minutes or so, so I'm going to sign off now because it's boring. And I'll update in a couple of weeks and see how far I've got there. Yeah, so I just wanted to sort of say what practices I've kind of got in my head to do. So I'm thinking about doing 20-minute practices, but because after that you stop retaining and stop learning, and you get a little bit bored, your mind switches off, especially if you're repeating, that same rhythm on the G chord over and over again. So what I thought I would do is try and get into sort of like an hour's practice, but in 20-minute sections. So probably starting with one section in the morning, probably doing 20 minutes in the morning. I have various things that I do in a day, so if I can chop one in the middle of that somewhere, then I will do. If not, I'll try and do 2 in the evening time, which works for me really well, and just try and fit it in around my lifestyle, and pick it up when I can, and try and do that religiously. Try and do it first thing when I get up, and then before I go to bed, or when I get home in the evening or whatever. And doing that hour in those 20-minute sections, I think it's gonna help my learning and the retaining of my learning a lot quicker. But we shall see. That might change. Who knows? That's the whole point of this, is to document and try and work out what works for me in terms of my learning, and then maybe I might pick up my guitar again and have a go at doing that. Who knows? Anyway, thanks for watching if you have, and I hope one day to inspire your banjo journey, like so many others on here have done for me. Anyway, thanks very much. Bye.